Samira is a terminally ill woman living in hospice for her remaining days. One day, the nurses take her and some other patients into New York City for some entertainment. Asteroids begin to crash into the city, and inside them are deadly aliens that hunt by sound. Things begin to look dire, but when an evacuation plan is put into effect, Samira has a different plan. She begins quietly making her way to Harlem, along with her cat Frodo and Eric, a lost law student, all in search of something that has brought Samira comfort in plenty of bad times. This is A Quiet Place, Day 1. A Quiet Place Day 1 is the latest film in the Quiet Place franchise, and like the name suggests, it's a prequel. Now, I'm actually a huge fan of the first two films. They are, in my opinion, some of the best horror out there, and John Krasinski knocks both of those films out of the park. I really hope he gets to making part 3 now that he's done playing with imaginary friends. But how is A Quiet Place Day 1? It's pretty freaking awesome. I can't say I expected too much out of A Quiet Place sequel, but this shit rocked. They step up the tension, the scale, and the emotional depth. It's one of the best prequels ever, I'm willing to say. Since this film doesn't follow a family that already knew sign language prior to the invasion, there isn't as much dialogue in this film as there are in the previous two films. And that's saying a lot, because there's already not that much dialogue in the first two films. So this is a film that's really going to rely a lot on body language and facial expressions. So obviously the best choices for that job are an Oscar winner and a guy who's seen Stranger Things. Not Stranger Things as in seeing Stranger Things the show, but seeing the Stranger Things that are in Stranger Things. I've never watched Stranger Things, so even I don't know what I'm saying. Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn both do a fantastic job at playing these characters in complete silence and making them emotionally compelling. Lupita Nyong'o especially. Not since Tallahassee and Zombieland have I seen a character with this relatable of a journey. Unlike Tallahassee, however, this character isn't played for laughs. Samira, as a character, tackles something I've always been interested to see in an apocalypse setting. You gotta be quiet, Frankie. The monsters will come get us. I can't really talk about this character much in fear of spoilers, but it's really unique for an apocalypse-like setting. Joseph Quinn's character is also quite refreshing, too. He isn't a rough and tough macho guy ready to kick ass and save the girl. He has his own emotional problems and pairs really well with Lupita. What are you doing? These two are just remarkably realistic characters in apocalypse settings, and I really came to understand and care about their troubles. Now, I would have gone as far as to say the opening to part 2 was the only prequel we really ever needed. It's a flashback opener on par with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's short, sweet, to the point, and kicks ass. This film takes full advantage of showing the arrival of the Death Angels. Yes, they're called Death Angels. I don't feel like a lot of people know that. See, now he's like a little co-host. Good boy, Frankie. It has a bigger scope, it's in a bigger city, has a bigger cast of characters. It's fantastic. It makes the threat of the aliens feel real on the entirety of Earth and not just some rural country area. However, the humans might catch on just a little too quickly. One thing I know about humanity, and Americans especially, is once they're told to not do something, they're gonna do the opposite. You tell New Yorkers to be quiet, and the first thing they're gonna want to do is scream their freaking head off. I can guarantee it. Unrelated, can we get the Death Angels in Dead by Daylight? That would be sick. Now, I have a whole lot of respect for PG-13 horror, especially really good PG-13 horror. When you're confined to the restraints of PG-13, you have to be creative, and these films definitely find a way great scene in the sewer. It's all so good. It helps that for some reason the director thought, why don't we have the main character have a cat? And the first thing I think of whenever I see a cat in a horror movie is I'm like, don't you freaking dare. I did not want one of my favorite horror franchises to go the route of Smile. Fuck Smile. Smile 2 looks mid. But in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense that cats are able to survive against the Death Angels. Cats are typically pretty quiet animals, for the most part at least. It's definitely something that'll vary on the breed of cat, but cats are definitely quiet animals. Dogs, not so much though. I hate to break it to you, but every dog in the Quiet Place universe is probably dead. Frodo the cat is the best horror cat since Jonesy from Alien though. I'll be real though, I really don't know how much more they can do with this franchise. I'm really holding out hope for a part 3 directed by John Krasinski, but after that I'm not too sure. Whatever they do next, I'm absolutely there for it. Because A Quiet Place Day 1 is a top-notch sequel that builds the world and has great characters and story to boot. It's truly a film worth not shutting up about. Do you agree? I hope you all enjoyed this ASMR review. I am never doing one of these again, at least not until the next Quiet Place comes out. Because you know, whispering for this long is quite hard on my vocal cords. Either way, if you enjoyed this review, please consider hitting that like button. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quinn Dunaway, and this has been Frankie. And we're hoping you will keep it cinematic. Oh, shit.